What happened during the Alliance's first years exploring the relays? Greetings, spacefarers, I'm Michael, and welcome to MTJ Disorder's Mass Effect Lore, a passion piece on all things Mass Effect. If you're into science fiction, gaming, and other action adventures, then go ahead and subscribe and like this video for more. It is the year 2150. Having just discovered the network of mass relays seemingly connected to all corners of the galaxy, the Systems Alliance was now a true spacefaring civilization. Word soon spreads across the solar system that travel to the stars is not only possible, but a viable plan for anyone's short-term future. It is in this year that famed businessman Henry Lawson would birth his future protege Miranda Lawson, in hopes of isolating and creating a pure gene pool of his own bloodline, a practice that was heavily frowned upon within the Alliance. Though extreme ideologies like this continued to percolate among the social elite, the vast majority of manpower and resources at their disposal was mostly devoted to exploring and expanding humanity's influence beyond the relay. The standard of living on Earth, though still mostly prosperous, had fallen by the wayside. In its place was an intense focus for this new intergalactic government. Poverty and disease would never rear its ugly head again, but most citizens of the solar system would be all but forced to remain there if they lacked wealth or influence. As a result, service in the Alliance military was an attractive prospect for anyone hoping to be part of colonization and establishing the new frontier. Throughout the intervening months following the Grissom expedition, numerous surveys began for charting colonization prospects outside of the Sol system. One of these surveys discovered the Earth-like planet Terra Nova. By no means a paradise, but a promising prospect nonetheless, this new world would eventually become the destination of many first-wave colonists. By 2151, possibly fueled by the unprecedented population growth of humanity as a whole, expansion and exploration increased at an exponential rate. To defend its expanding territory, the Alliance began construction of a massive military fleet and a space station in Arcturus, which over the next year rapidly became the nexus of several key mass relays. The Alliance were as of yet to encounter another intelligent spacefaring race. Nonetheless, the logistics of such expansion throughout so many star systems required the support of a large military. The modus operandi of high-ranking officers being better safe than sorry. Humanity, after all, knew at the very least there may be a galactic empire out there somewhere. Only 2 years after the discovery of the Mass Effect, technological advancement had exploded beyond imagination. Another result of expansion was the discovery of vast quantities of unrefined element zero. The Alliance's lead scientists were already beginning to understand much of the full applications of its use. But in the latter stages of that year, while on a routine delivery, a large freighter was involved in a supposed accident at Singapore International Spaceport, exposing hundreds of humans to dust form element zero. The accident turned out to be catastrophic for thousands of civilians. Of the many children born in Singapore the following year, roughly 30% of those born of exposed parents suffered from cancerous growths. Mortality rates were unfortunately high. Among the many exposed in this tragic accident was the mother of Kaidan Alenko. She and many others would give birth to children who had no apparent defects, and though most of the newborns were expected to have a poor quality of life, to the surprise of medical professionals everywhere, that was not the case. Children born after the accident would undergo vigorous testing, eventually showing signs of what looked like telekinetic abilities. Scientists soon discovered that exposure to element zero had resulted in a mutation that developed biological function, allowing an organic manipulation of Mass Effect fields, later to be known as biotics. Significant resources would be sunk into this discovery, searching for a way to weaponize it. Meanwhile, the Systems Alliance military continued its aggressive expansion. Throughout 2152, many habitable planets had been discovered within the reach of a mass relay. When this knowledge made its way back to the Sol system, many independent corporations and the nations of the Systems Alliance began to make their own plans for these uncharted worlds. The Delta Pavonis Foundation, a major consortium based on Earth, would fund the settlement of humanity's first extrasolar colony world, the planet Demeter. Later that year, additional colonies were founded following the discovery of Eden Prime, and finally the colonization of Terra Nova. Throughout 2153, most colonization efforts would be focused on these three worlds, but the Alliance would continue its exploration and aggressive militarization despite that. One of the Navy's primary doctrines was to activate any relay upon discovery and to establish an immediate presence in any linking star systems. The Alliance military was beginning to take on a more independent role, becoming ever more separate from the establishment back on Earth. By 2154, Earth itself was starting to become seen as more of a colony of the Alliance rather than the seat of its power. In the early stages of that year, a second accident involving dust form element zero would be documented. It was around this time on April 11th that Commander Shepard was born. Though the accident's whereabouts was confidential, it can be inferred depending on Shepard's background. In 2155, as construction on Arcturus station continued, large completed portions of the station started to be occupied by the Systems Alliance, intended to soon become the Alliance's headquarters. The station was fast becoming one of the greatest achievements of humanity to that point, and so this star system and its mass relay were established as a central hub for humanity, though many back in the Sol system still considered Earth to have that role. Also, Joker was born that year. Fun. In early 2156, though not yet complete, Arcturus Station is formally inaugurated and the Permanent Alliance headquarters is now established. At around this time, the children that were exposed to Element Zero over the years start to exhibit early stages of biotic powers. Caden Alenko and Commander Shepard are among them. In 2157, indications of the effects of mass relay use start to appear in regard to the Charon Relay. As a result of the influx of transits, Pluto and the relay itself begin to take on a more circularized orbit, drastically altering the dynamics of the Sol system. Though many considered this signs of humanity mastering the environment of outer space, the now impressive Alliance military was more than capable of handling any solar objects that may become a threat as a result. With so much taking place over such a short amount of time, the Alliance was on a proverbial cloud nine, now a multi-colonial civilization with huge advancements in technology, social structure and politics. The Alliance military was now vast and considered by many to be prepared for any threat that may emerge. The best weapons, ships and training that humanity had ever known was at the forefront of this expanding power. To further potential, the N7 program was founded, with one of its first graduates being a young David Anderson, who had passed officer candidate school becoming flight lieutenant at the age of only 20. Life was good for most of the citizens and civilians of this young and eager civilization. But little did they know that lurking beyond the dark horizon of their borders was an as of yet unknown presence that threatened to upend everything. Thanks for watching. For more Mass Effect and related content, please like, share and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon to be informed of the next video. Keyless ally my friends, and until next time.
I should go.